Welcome to The Explainer. If you're a business owner, an agency founder, or maybe a digital marketer, you're probably intimately familiar with the modern villains of the corporate world. We're talking about churning clients who just vanish after a single misunderstanding and unmotivated teams that just seem kind of checked out. It's exhausting, right? Well, what if I told you the fix for these very modern headaches was actually codified almost a century ago? Today, we're taking a total classic and turning it into an executive playbook built just for you.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Look at this staggering number, 85%. Research from the Carnegie Foundation, and later backed up by the Carnegie Institute of Technology, uncovered something absolutely monumental. They found that even in super technical fields, like engineering, only about 15% of your financial success comes down to your actual technical knowledge. A massive 85% of success, it's all about skill in human engineering. Basically, your personality and your ability to lead people. I mean, you can buy technical ability, right? But the ability to step up, assume leadership, and actually arouse enthusiasm, that's the real secret sauce that drives the bottom line.
So, to master this human engineering, we've got a quick 4-part agenda for you today. First, the core secret. Second, handling difficult clients. Third, habits for team cooperation. And finally, the weekly self-analysis.
All right, let's jump straight into part 1, the core secret.
This right here is honestly one of the best pieces of business advice ever given. Henry Ford once said, "If there is any one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own." The absolute core secret of modern sales and management is what Dale Carnegie calls arousing an eager want. Think about it. People don't want to feel like they're being sold to, and your team definitely doesn't want to just be barked at. They want to solve their own problems. You've really got to step into their shoes and figure out what they actually want.
Which brings us right to part 2, handling difficult clients.
And this brilliantly illustrates the problem. When a client comes at us with criticism, our natural knee-jerk instinct is to raise our shields, right? We defend our work, we argue back. But the counterintuitive Carnegie method is to actually drop those defenses, admit fault quickly, and just listen. Fighting back, that just builds up these massive walls of misunderstanding.
Take the New York Telephone Company as an example. They once had this incredibly vicious customer. I'm talking cursing at reps, refusing to pay bills, writing angry letters to the newspapers, threatening lawsuits, the whole shebang. So how did they finally disarm the guy? They sent over a sympathetic listener. The rep literally just sat there and listened patiently, letting this furious customer kind of dilate like a king cobra and spew all that poison completely out of his system. Because at the end of the day, what this angry man genuinely wanted was just a feeling of importance. And once he got that from someone who actually took the time to listen, his imagined grievances just vanished into thin air. No way, right? But it worked.
But hey, what if you're the one who actually messed up? Harold Rink, who was a Dodge dealer over in Montana, used to get really hard-boiled with complaining customers. And of course, that just led to flared tempers and lost business. So he flipped the script to this exact, disarming phrase. "Our dealership has made so many mistakes that I am frequently ashamed. We may have erred in your case. Tell me about it." It's brilliant. By the time the customer got all their feelings out, they became incredibly reasonable. Rink literally had unhappy clients turn into loyal partners who would bring their friends in to buy cars, all because he swallowed his pride and admitted fault right out of the gate.
Okay, let's move on and see how this builds into part 3, habits for team cooperation.
So here is a rapid-fire, highly actionable 3-habit checklist for building fierce loyalty in a super collaborative environment internally. Number 1, give honest and sincere appreciation. Seriously, people crave it way more than you realize. Number 2, ask questions instead of just barking direct orders. And number 3, always let the other person save face when they slip up.
Let's zoom in on that second habit for a second. The legendary business leader Owen D. Young almost never gave a direct order to anybody. Instead of saying, "Hey, do this," or "Don't do that," he'd ask things like, "What do you think of this?" or "Do you think that would work?" Asking questions instead of just giving orders saves a person's pride and again, gives them that crucial feeling of importance. Plus, it really empowers your team to take ownership of their work and actually learn from their own mistakes.
Now contrast these two management styles for when an employee inevitably messes up, because we all do, right? One class member told a story about a VP who totally lost his temper in a meeting, just berated a supervisor and accused him of lying. The guy was humiliated. He wasn't allowed to save face at all. The result? Just pure toxic resentment. But on the flip side, look at this other manager in a print shop. He had a new employee doing pretty poor work, but instead of threatening to fire him, the manager found one piece of exceptionally high-quality work the guy had done, went over and praised him for it. He explained exactly how important his contribution was. By giving him a fine reputation to live up to, he completely transformed that employee's entire attitude.
All right, bringing it all home with part 4, the weekly self-analysis.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the incredibly simple but wildly effective routine of a super successful Wall Street bank president. He credited most of his success to this exact homemade system. From Monday through Friday, he'd just execute, tracking all his appointments and interactions in an engagement book. Then, every Saturday night, without fail, he'd completely isolate himself, open that book, and appraise his entire week.
And during that Saturday night review, this top financier would ask himself these exact 3 questions. What mistakes did I make that time? What did I do that was right? And how could I improve my performance? And what lessons can I learn from that experience? He actually noted that at first, this weekly review made him pretty unhappy because of all the blunders he was catching. But over the years, those blunders became way less frequent, and his ability to make decisions and deal with people just grew enormously.
So, I want to leave you with this to chew on as we wrap up the explainer today. Look back at your own last 5 days in business. How did you handle that frustrated client? How did you speak to your team when the pressure was really on? Think about it honestly. What mistakes did you make this week? I challenge you to start your own weekly self-analysis tonight. If you do, you're not just going to learn human engineering, you are going to master it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.
Subscribe for more actionable executive summaries, and if you want deeper insights and exclusive content, support the channel on Patreon. You'll find the link in the description.